First and foremost, I'd like to thank It's Runner for inspiring me to do this video on raising your vibrational frequency, or what some people call vibrations, or feeling the vibrations before you leave your body. I like to refer to it as basically raising your vibrational frequency. So let me get right into it. Of course, I'm going to take you through my process, and your process is more than likely going to be different. So keep that in mind. First, I want to say, and I want to revisit this topic because I've talked about it before. Raising your vibrational frequency is a powerful, powerful thing. It's interesting, when I'm on the subreddit for astral projection, there are so many people that get on there and say that they are able to get to that stage with the vibrations, but they want advice on how to go further from there. And I think one of the things that's difficult for me is that once I reach that state, it's natural. It feels it's instinctive for me to go and do what I do. Now, I don't know if this has to do with the fact that I've been leaving my body since I was 9 years old. This, I think, has just over time become more and more instinctual. But even that first time when it happened, when I first left my body, I just simply began rising out. I felt myself become literally lighter than air and rise out of my body. I didn't have to think about it. It was automatic, I guess. Interestingly enough, when that first time happened, of course, for those of you who've listened to that video, it was terrifying for me. So maybe I wish I could have just stayed there and been trying to figure out how exactly to do it. But that's always been for me a very instinctual thing, that raising your vibrational frequency, to me, is the difficult part. Once you get to that point, then you should be able to leave your body. It should be, at least from my belief, from my opinion, it should be effortless, and you should allow things to happen. But let me talk about the 3 things that I can do when I reach this state, when I'm able to raise my vibrational frequency. Again, this is a very powerful thing as far as I'm concerned. And if you can do it, perhaps you can try at least a few of these things that I'm going to tell you about. Well, the one thing that's obvious is that when I'm able to raise my vibrational frequency, I'm able to leave my body. I'm able to separate my spirit being from my physical body. But the second thing I'm able to do, obviously, and something that I talk about on this channel a whole lot, is the beyond body and being able to experience that. The third thing that I'm able to do is connect with spirit beings without leaving, without going from my bed, being able to communicate with beings on various frequencies. And this has been something that has been, I could never have foreseen this years ago when I first started leaving my body. Of course, I have had contact with spirit beings outside of my body, but being able to raise my vibrational frequency and communicate without leaving my body in that moment has been a very, very interesting thing. But so I know all of you are wondering, like, how do you do it specifically? Like, what are the specific things that you do in order to raise your vibrational frequency? This is not an easy question, or I'm sorry, this is not it isn't an easy question for me. A lot of what I've done in the past and what I do presently is instinctual. What I will tell you is, and I want to be very upfront about this, I don't have a magic formula for you. And I don't believe that there is some one thing that you can do. I see these things on the internet and people trying to sell people things. They're like, you can do these 2 or 3 things and you can achieve this thing immediately. This will happen in 3 weeks, in 2 weeks, in a month. Sorry guys, I don't believe in any of these things. I think that you have to put in the work to be able to do it. So I'm going to be very upfront with you. I don't have a magic formula, a magic bullet for you. But I can tell you, that what I've figured out over time with what I do and how I arrive to this point is something that I've talked about on this channel before, and that is reaching that in-between place, what I call, or what I like to call, the sweet spot. And that in-between place for me is the space between being asleep and awake. And I think a lot of things happen in this place. And I think a lot of people experience things when they're in this in-between place and they don't even realize it. Perhaps it's really early in the morning and you haven't quite woken up and you hear a voice or you hear something or you sense a presence, and then you wake up fully. And once you wake up fully, those senses go away. You don't sense that presence anymore, and that voice just disappears. But I think a lot of people achieve this and they don't even realize it. They're thinking, oh, I was kind of sleeping, I was drowsy, and so, I heard this thing, this was just a dream. But I don't believe that that's always the case with this. I don't believe that it is always a dream. I believe that at that moment, they're raising their frequency, if not even just for a few moments, a few seconds, they've been able to achieve it, and they don't even know that that's what they've done. So let me just kind of go through some of the things with me, and because that's really the only thing I can do. And if there's something obviously that's there that's useful for you, take that. And, my hope is that it works for you. So the first thing is relaxation and visualization. I think that this stuff should always begin with you relaxing, focusing on your breath, quieting your thoughts. Try not to overcomplicate this. I think I go back to subreddit again when I see all these people kind of putting out all these different techniques. There's nothing wrong with using different techniques. I just think that we overcomplicate things. And I'm just like, you don't need to make this a complicated thing. Keep it as simple as possible. Focus on your breath, quiet your thoughts, and relax. Try and let go of all those things that might be bothering you during the day. Just let those things go and just get into a state of relaxation. In regards to visualization, my preference is that you create your own visualization, that you use that creative aspect of yourself to do this, whatever feels comfortable for you. But I will share some of the things that I visualize. And again, if it's helpful to you, if it's something that can get you closer to that point, great, wonderful. I'm always pleased, very, very happy to hear if I can assist someone to get closer. So, the first thing I want to tell you is that this works best for me when I first wake up out of a deep sleep. It doesn't matter if I am waking up in the middle of the night or if I am waking up in the middle of the afternoon after a nap. This is the best time for me. If I make an attempt, it's much more likely that I'm going to succeed and I'm going to actually have an experience. Visualization wise, what I'm going to tell you are things that I've talked about before that help me, but I want to kind of put them all here in this video, all the things that I've used. Also keep in mind that I don't always use these, but these are things that are kind of my go-to when I feel like I want to use visualization to achieve an experience. One of the things that I've done is I imagine the center of my forehead, or where the third eye is supposed to be located. I imagine that area glowing with a golden glow. So that's one of the things I do. I see that as I'm relaxing. The second thing that I do to achieve raising my vibrational frequency is to imagine myself on a mountain and I am holding a white rope, and right before I fall or slip into a deeper sleep, I let that rope go. That's another thing that I like to do. And the third thing that I can think of that I like to do is to imagine my finger flipping on a light switch right before I fall into a deeper sleep. Now, the light switch to me represents my conscious mind, and flipping on that light switch is like flipping on my conscious mind right as I'm getting ready to go into sleep. So, and that puts me in that middle space. So, those are my techniques. Again, I don't know if they will work for you. They work for me. And if they do work for you, I would love to hear, because again, I love to hear people's successes. This is something that actually very much pleases me. I also want you to keep in mind that after all these years, with these techniques that I use, I do still fall asleep. I really, truly do, even when I'm using these techniques. So I say this, and I honestly, with my videos, I always like to say this because of all the years I've done this. Try not to be so hard on yourself, and try not to get too frustrated if you are falling asleep and if you're not achieving this. I've also seen this on the subreddit, and it's actually sad to me. Some people seem to be so upset about not being able to achieve this in a timely manner, I guess, or when they want to be able to do it. It's not an easy thing, but nothing worth having is easy, guys. That's just the way it is. You're going to have to put the work in. I'm just being honest, very, very honest with you. You've got to put the work in. And It is my belief if you put the work in that you could eventually achieve it. There is definitely that possibility. So anyway, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And until next time, take care.